Warning, listening to this podcast could result in spending or saving large amounts of money. Listener discretion advised.
Strap in for a wildly unqualified adventure with two overly opinionated collectors, armed with good intentions and questionable expertise, as they stumble through a galaxy of toys and collectibles, pretending to know it all, where every figure has a story and every opinion is a showdown. Welcome to Across the Toyverse.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Across the Toyverse, episode, what is this, 7?
7.
Episode 7. And we're in a new location. Less distractions, more toys. We're in my living room.
More toys does not equal less distractions, Mark.
No, that's absolutely correct. Yeah, actually, more toys is more distractions. But this is the first time we've actually recorded at my house, and that's really cool. But we were talking about this whole episode is going to be about playsets and vehicles. And so as such, we're like, well, let's try to get somewhere with less distractions. And I was like, well, let's do my house. And then I brought out a bunch of action figures and play sets, some modern play sets, because we're going to be talking about play sets and vehicles.
Yeah.
This episode. But we just wanted to say thank you guys for all the extra likes and everything that we've been noticing on Instagram. It seems like the like count is up. I wouldn't say it's going in my favor.
Yeah. It's relatively stayed the same in terms of percentage.
Yeah.
But it has gone up.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're always pretty close.
Yeah.
And you know what? I that's how I feel about our posing. I feel like I'm pretty close to you, but not quite as good as you. You are always one step ahead of me, and that's okay. I don't mind living in your shadow.
It's due mostly to the drones I have around your house that you don't know about until just now. And I make sure that if you're posing, I'm posing 2 figures so that I can stay one step ahead.
Exactly. Well, I appreciate all the likes. We've been getting some comments on the video that's been posted where the podcast is posted up on YouTube. You had a nice little interaction with somebody. I hope that conversation is still going. And I just spoke to my good friend Jeff, who's acting as a sort of producer, behind the scenes producer for us. I have given him all of the artwork and all of the files for episodes 1 through 6, and they will be uploaded over the next, I would say, probably couple of days. He is going to be getting them up on Spotify, Google Play Store, the podcast store for Google Play, and the Apple Podcast app. So over the next, I think by the time this episode actually airs next week, they should be up. By the time you're listening to this, you may already be listening to this on your podcast platform of choice. So thank you, Jeff, for reaching out and asking how you could help behind the scenes. And because this was something that I think we didn't think at first we needed, but we really want to reach a broader audience. We really want to reach, kind of push through. I do know that, yes, of course, more podcasts are listened to on YouTube than anywhere else. But if you are used to going to the Google Play Store or Spotify or Apple Play or Apple iTunes to get your podcast, then you're probably not finding this or coming across this. And I also don't know of too many podcasts, like dedicated podcasts. I know that Yes Have Some guys still continue to do theirs. It's probably the premier action figure toy podcast out there, but we definitely want to see how much traction we can get by hitting these other platforms, broadening the audience.
Yeah. Thanks to, what was your friend's name?
Jeff.
Thanks, Jeff. I appreciate that too.
Yeah. And so the really cool thing is you're messing around with the Mezco classic cap,
Silver Age
cap, enabling me. This thing looks incredible,
dude. I'm a sucker for a good cap. As a matter of fact, me and Freddie are going in on our good friend locally, Freddie. We're going in on the Gamerverse Captain America Venom 2-pack because I don't really want that Venom. but I really want that cap, man. He is a great looking figure.
He is all about Venom.
Yeah, and Freddie's been wanting that Venom, so we're gonna Splitsville that guy.
Yeah, I am a sucker for a good Wolverine as well, and I'm thinking about picking up the Gamerverse Wolverine versus Silver Samurai. I got to see it in hand.
It does
over
look
the
cool.
weekend at in Atlanta at Joe Lanta. I saw a vendor have it. He was asking a little too much. I think he wanted $75 for it, and it's typically $60.
Just Wolverine or for the set?
I just want Wolverine. I'm gonna have
that for the
yeah. It's the set. He was asking $65, and I think the set is like $60. He was much higher, so I wasn't going to pick it up for that.
Yeah.
Is it 70?
No, you said 70.
Oh, it's either 59 or 69. I don't remember. Right. But yeah, that's definitely one that I'm looking to pick up because I know the complaints. Everybody's like, "Oh, this Wolverine's too big," and I'm like, "Shut up! I don't care. Like, I'll take a big beefy Wolverine. It's totally fine." I am
the Gamerverse, and he is bigger in the game.
Yeah. My dog is licking my ankles. This is her favorite pastime. She loves to do this, whether I'm sitting here on the couch or laying in bed. It's just something that she loves to do. I am her favorite flavor. So we're going to take a break from all of this nonsense. And when we come back, we're going to dive into our most recent pickups.
Yes.
And then we will dive into our topic of the week, which is going to be Playsets and vehicles. All right. Welcome back to the podcast, and we'll get right into our weekly pickups. What did you bring? What did you bring here for those at home listening and not able to see?
I got the aforementioned Mezco Silver Age Captain America. I was looking forward to this guy because I love a good Captain America. And he was looking super good. They did a Captain America a few years ago, who was more of a like typical Mezco release where they sort of take an idea of a character and they do their own little tweaks.
I remember
release like a version of it that's not from the movies, not from the comics. It's just sort of like a thing.
What I remember about that figure, his scales were raised.
Yeah.
Like they were like individually raised.
Yeah.
And I remember him having like combat boots or something like that. They were like laced up the front.
It was more along the lines of like, say, Marvel Ultimates looking, but not exact. And it just never quite did it for me. So I never got that guy, but this one's the classic Silver Age. And I've been loving their Silver and Golden Age stuff that they've been putting out recently.
Oh my gosh. I have the classic, was it Silver Age Spider-Man?
Spider-Man, the Joker they put out recently. Yeah. So,
Batman and Robin. I have those as well.
Yeah. So you're right. Yeah. Little kid Robin. Yeah. But yeah, this guy's great. He's, got enough stuff. I like how a major issue is how the shield connects through these figures. And one reason I'm down on my Mafex classic cap is just that terrible system they came up with the little plastic tabs that they barely hold it. And if you start positioning him, it falls off his wrist or it falls off his back. And I hate what Mafex came up with. I've cut those tabs off mine, put magnets on, they held okay. Took those magnets off, put stronger magnets on, they hold better, but it's still kind of wobbly. So I don't even mess with it. Like I spent $100 and now a couple of hours on this figure, and it's just sitting on my shelf in a vanilla pose. And I'm just like, I don't like messing with it. But Mezco, what they have done with this cap is really good. It has like this little push in, twist, locking to get his shield in place, and that works really well.
But you tried putting that shield on the classic Mafex cap?
I don't think it'll fit. This looks like it's too big. I have not. That's a good thought though.
I just wondered like if I could maybe track that shield down off eBay or somewhere. But
I'll check it out. Or we can check it out. Oh, you have the cap, right?
I do. I should go grab it and do that. But no, I love this cap, so I may end up having it in hand, touching it, and that's pretty fantastic. I got turned around on
a beautiful boy
on Mezco 112. What did it for me was I think I messed around with your first appearance Wolverine or whatever the 10,
Yeah.
whatever that Wolverine was called. I remember it having the first appearance head.
Yeah.
But then I won one of those.
That's right.
I won one at a con. Well, actually, I didn't even win it. It was a giveaway if I spent enough money at this one particular retailer, and I did, and they give me my option of what I wanted free, and it was like Constantine, power flickered. It was like Constantine, or Morbius, or
Ooh,
or Wolverine, and I'm like, Wolverine,
Yeah.
please, like. Are you kidding me? I love that thing.
I don't think there's anything wrong with the Morbius, but like that's the one of those three that you can get like super cheap.
Yeah.
So the Wolverine or the Constantine were the way to go.
Yeah.
The other thing I got, another pickup I brought, is the Fury Toys Sun Wukong that I got from 5K Toys. He's amazing. He's got super, if you guys haven't seen this guy, look him up. Super detailed armor, super detailed paint job.
Way bigger than I thought he was going to.
He is tall. Him a tall man.
Yeah, like I thought
Yeah.
that figure, I thought I read that figure was like 1/12 scale. Maybe it's not.
I mean, I think it can be called that. He's big.
Yeah, he seems to be like in the neighborhood of like taller than a McFarlane.
Yeah.
Which I know is like 7 inches, but the point of this guy is that he's kind of hunched down. Like he has all these double joints, and you really want to get him in these crazy kung fu poses. So
He's got some great joints. The pros I'd say with this guy, definitely just he looks amazing. If
he does.
If nothing else, I'm keeping him just because he's going to be the most attractive figure on my shelf. He's got a mix of different types of plastic, he's got some cloth goods, got some wired, some not. He's got like ropes holding, with like little dangles on them and stuff. I mean, they went all.
I love when they do like mixed media. So you've got plastic.
That's what
you have the parts that look like they're metal, parts that look like there's like chainmail, but then there's actual soft goods.
Yeah. This guy's great. He looks amazing. And he also has a light up head. He has a light up staff too, but the light up head, the eyes light up, and they can be yellow, they can be red, they can be like a pulsating yellow, pulsating red, and the pupils follow you when you move him around. Like it's incredible. Like this guy, and this is the deluxe version, and he was $75. And I just think he was a great deal. Plus he came with this other smaller little monkey, like disciple character. He's got 2 sets of hands, and he's got his own staff too. And like, this guy's great. This guy,
$75 is ridiculous for everything you get. Yeah, that's crazy.
And this is the same company that is doing those samurai animals, not Ninja Turtles figures. Like Leo that you got.
Mm-hmm.
And they have Leo, Michelangelo, Donatello, but they're all called
spring,
summer, winter, autumn.
I missed Leo. I didn't get him when he first came out,
but you got the re-release.
But I have the re-release on pre-order. It hasn't shipped yet, but I have the Leo and the Donnie.
Yeah.
And one of them came with the accessory kit for Leo. So I've got the Leo head.
Okay.
I got some of the little parts and pieces that come with it, but I don't have. Yeah. And I have the accessory kit that came with for Mikey with like the spinning nunchuck thing, like the skateboard and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, those figures are incredible. They just released images of this tiger that's coming out that's taken the world by storm.
Yeah, this like really big, really, again, like their sculpts are some of my favorite in action figures right now. Like the way they sculpt fur and muscle and armor, and just like they're doing some really next level stuff. Yeah, I like those. I'm following that company, Fury Toys, is putting out some really great stuff. So I like this Sun Wukong a lot. I will caution anybody who gets Sun Wukong, be careful putting the tail on, because mine hasn't had an issue. So maybe heat up the socket when you're putting the tail into the socket to avoid an issue like that. But yeah,
and just like your partners, you heat the hole, not the post.
That's right. All right. What do you got?
My 2 pickups was something that's not like super recent. I got it like 3 or 4 weeks ago, but I wanted to show them off to you just because like me, I had never had one of these bodies in hand, but these are the Fresh Monkey Fiction Naughty or Nice collection. And they're the Pumpkin Brothers that my good friend Nikki Nicole painted. She did the paint masters for. And these are
paint's awesome.
Yeah, the paint on these are fantastic. So it's Patch is the shirtless one, and Peter is the shirted one. And all of the parts except for the head and his little neck piece that goes around his head. Now that when you pop his head off, you'll know that that head is on a hinge. Because all the parts are reuse. So this was the very first body they put out, or not the first body, but it was one of the first. This is the Krampus body. They have an upper body, this pudgy body that they use for their Krampus. They also use this, I believe, in like their Viking Santa that just had like a wolf pelt head things draped over him. So that body's been reused before. The hands are from Krampus. And that was a newly tooled body. And so the neck, they added the hinge. That was later. And then that guy was from the first wave when they did a sort of like a lumberjack Santa.
That's right.
It's like a red plaid shirt. So, but really nice reuse because like that's the same staff that classic Santa came with. And so if you paint it brown, it looks wood. You paint it green, looks like a pumpkin stalk, which is crazy. Of course, the other Santa came with an axe, but they're just crazy bizarre. I've never had them in hand, and I was looking to get a set, and I reached out to Nikki, and I was like, "Do you think that they would send me one for review?" And I think she made it happen. So shout out to my friend Nikki. She's so awesome.
That's cool.
And they sent me this set for review, and I reviewed it a few weeks ago. But I know you've never had a chance to get your hands on them. And the 2-pack is kind of pricey. This 2-pack was like $85.
Yeah.
It did come with some extra stuff. I didn't bring it in here. They came with some extra hands. They came with, I mean, probably 8 to 10 pumpkins of various sizes and colors, and then a lantern that you can put on that green staff if you want. It's like a kerosene lantern, which is really cool.
Saw that. I was looking at this set for a little bit, and they're big. They're a lot bigger than
they're beefy figures. They're not listen, you're not going to get them in any kind of amazing Yamaguchi pose. It's not going to happen. But they are fairly mobile for what they are, and for the poses that you would want to get something like that in. I also am just like a freak about Halloween. It's my favorite holiday. I love anything Halloween related, and so I love having them on my shelf. I'll probably put them away after the holiday, and then I will drag them out every Halloween and put them back out, and I'm very happy to have them. And they kind of enabled me, now that I see how big they are and the quality, that I will definitely order at least one Santa and have a Santa.
I do have one of their Santas. And yeah, I like it a lot. It's, I think I got just like friendly Santa.
The regular, classic red and white. Yeah. You have it already, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
I got it last year.
Oh, very cool.
I went with Black African-American Santa because it always bugs me this time of year, or not this time, but in a couple of months when Christmas stuff starts selling and you see like the black elf on the shelves still up,
right.
All the white ones get bought, and it's always like that. They don't have to be your same race. You're not related. You know what I mean? Like, it always bugs me that people just only pick the ones that like match them. Like, you're not related to the guy. You just get the one you like,
Right.
So I made a conscious effort. I was like, you know what? I'm going to be posing this guy and putting him in pictures, and I don't want to be a part of that.
Very cool, man. How socially conscious.
I want to be. I wanted to be. You're making some kind of a difference.
Yeah, man.
With my Santa Claus purchase. So, but I love him. I genuinely like his face as opposed to like just the regular one, because he's got like the little spectacles, and I like his gray beard as opposed to like the white beard.
Yeah,
he just looks more like a real dude, and it just spoke to me, and I thought, you know what, I'm gonna do it.
They have every kind of Santa you'd like. If you want a zombie,
you want to see.
If you want a zombie Santa, they got you covered.
Yeah, they got
Young Santa.
Yeah, they got lots, and every time I go looking at their figures, I'm like, if every time I looked at their figures, I bought a new Santa, I still wouldn't have all of them.
Right. Yeah. But I really like the white one that they have, like the white wizard robe.
Yes, that one's
Look
cool.
great. They have blue wizard robes. I love the lumberjack Santa. They got a lot of options. The Viking Santa. There's a lot to go with. I'm sure there'll be like a Rambo style Santa in the future, kind of like with Bad Santa.
Yeah.
Had
If you think you don't need a Santa and you go looking at Fresh Monkey Fiction Santas, you will come away with one.
oh, and dude, they've got reindeer and sleighs, and then like package like bundle like a little accessory kits,
Right.
milk and cookies and all kinds of presents and bags.
Or these elves and
Yeah. They've got all that. They really kitted out. So I have those. And then the other thing that I brought out for you to look at is the Mythic Legion's Legacies of Mythos Otho. Very first in the line. And basically what they are is this is a chance for the Four Horsemen who put these figures out like 10 years ago because they were like in wave 1 or wave 2 to go back in with new articulation, new techniques, new paint, new soft goods, wired soft goods, and kind of plus up and give you like a 2.0 version, an update. And I wanted you to have a chance to check those out because they move a little better. They definitely look a little better. And and Otho is like one of the most sought after quintessential characters in the Mythic Legion's line.
I see him brought up a lot. And I see why. He's a super cool looking guy. And cool how they added the that you can put his dreadlocks in the back, coming out of the back of his helmet, or just stick them on the back.
Yeah, it's the same piece. They just tooled it in a way to where it pops off the back of his head. And if you want to put the helmet on, you put the helmet on. He comes with a different helmet that doesn't have that. So you can have like a younger Otho before his dreadlocks grew out.
Oh yeah.
But new shield, new sword, lots of new parts and pieces. I got Urzak as well. And then the next two were already revealed. They will be sold as exclusives at Legion's Con, which is, only like 6 weeks away. But those are my pickups, man.
Nice.
As we, she wants you to hold her hand. My dog is very needy. We'll definitely take some pictures of all the stuff that we have out, and we'll post them next week when we launch the episode, and you guys can see what we're messing around with. But we are going to take a quick break, let you guys get something to drink, catch your breath, and then when we come back, we're going to be talking playsets. And we are back. This was a topic you came up with, but one that I love because, one, I kind of feel that, of course, playsets were huge in the 80s and 90s. But then they kind of dwindled out as I think retail spaces, like the presence of action figures and things like that in the retail space grew. I think the ability to put playsets in toy stores shrank. And so we didn't see them for a long time. If you did, they were very few and far between. McFarlane in the early 2000s came back around with like the little mini diorama pieces that some of the figures would come with. I kind of think of like the Sleepy Hollow figures he did from the movie, had like the tree and stuff.
That tree.
Yeah, like there were some other like do you remember the Stan Winston Realm figures that was short-lived? It had these really nice diorama style bases, but
they were a little smaller scale, but very intricate.
Yeah.
And stuff.
But playsets kind of went away, and now, my God, like in the last few years, playsets have had sort of like a resurgence.
Yeah. I imagine they probably overdid it for a while, with like Motu and G.I. Joe probably overdid it. And they said, let's just do figures. That way we can sell more of them and make more, more transactions, which is the thing. They like when we're transacting.
Yeah.
They're the owners, the runners of the company. This is not that kind of a podcast stuff.
Yeah. But playsets, they involve a lot of work up front, a lot of tooling, a lot of production, a lot of paint, a lot of intricate parts, pieces, instructions. They're big, they're bulky, they're, expensive to ship. And so I can see all of the reasons why
Sure.
that, people got out of them. But also they are some of like it's the world building.
Yeah.
It's one of those things to where like it's always great to get a new figure. But man, when you got a really cool play set, and especially as kids, like I remember like
vehicle or,
I would definitely reuse my play sets. Like, so I have
good point. Like with other figures.
yeah, with other lines, 100%.
Yeah,
I remember having, I remember like one of the ones that I definitely did this with is, do you remember I don't think it was Superpowers, but it was right after Superpowers. Kenner did a line of Swamp Thing figures.
Yes.
And the Swamp Thing had a base. It was like this little mountain, and on the top was like a tree, and it had like a little soft area that was like a swamp that you could sink a character down in the quicksand or whatever, the swampy mud. Like that playset got used for G.I. Joe. It got used for Star Wars as my Dagobah playset. Like
nice.
I reused the crap out of that thing. I've seen it once or twice at shows, and I still regard that Swamp Thing playset as one of my favorite playsets when I was a kid, because
Looking it up now.
because it was just so fun.
That's super cool. I didn't have that one, but I remember seeing it. It was definitely one because I had those Swamp Thing figures. I liked the animated series. I was always a fan of the movies.
Right.
Then there was on USA Network, there was a live action series. I loved Swamp Thing.
You remember how one Swamp Thing that was green, he had the arm that would pull out and had a string on it, and you could raise his legs and it would pull him up. So that tree that's on there, like you could attach his hand to that tree, and that's how he would pull himself out of the swamp. There was a lot of play with that, and it just was a great stand-in for G.I. Joe missions. Like I said, Dagobah with Star Wars.
That's cool, man.
I remember using like the Fright Zone playset, so we have some out here on the table, and again, we'll post pictures. I have some of like the more modern playsets. So I have out on the table, I have the G.I. Joe classified series 151. I forgot what it's called, like the Cobra Outpost. I have that up on the table. I just opened the Fright Zone from Mattel. I got that a couple weeks ago. And then so that kind of rounds out my trifecta. Like I have like Castle Grayskull, Snake Mountain, and the Fright Zone. I also have Planet Eternia or Castle Eternia. I have that big, massive playset as well because I never had Eternia as a kid. I always wanted it. You can't buy one now for less than $2,000. It's crazy. I have Snake Mountain out here, which I never had as a kid, but a friend of mine did. I used to play with it at his house. I was dang sure I was going to get that when I became an adult. And then I have a couple from McFarlane. One that I got from you, which is the 66 Batman Batcave, which I love.
I have to specify, I did not sell the only one I had. I bought two, thinking I'd sit on one for a while, and then something happened. I just decided to dump it.
Yeah.
I would never, like, I have the one I have, Batman 66 is just near and dear to my heart. So I don't see.
Great for dioramas, and you can put like, I know that the figures that McFarlane created, and that's a weird scale. They're kind of between 6 and between 7, but it doesn't matter. You can throw like your Superpowers figures in there. It looks great. It's bright and colorful. And then I have the new McFarlane Superman Fortress of Solitude from the new Superman movie, the James Gunn Superman movie, out, of course. And it's mostly cardboard with a few pieces of plastic here and there. The chair isn't connected to the base. You can pretend to rotate it. It doesn't really do much, but it's really kind of cool for just like if you've got a nice like Superman display.
Yeah.
If you got some 6-inch Superman figures, I think it would work. These are a little smaller than that, but yeah, I brought some of these out just so we can see, because it's definitely have a resurgence. I know a good friend of mine, Brian, got the Thundercats Cat Slayer from Super 7.
Jeez, that thing's very cool.
Huge Thundercats fan. I mean, way bigger than I am. I love Thundercats, but when I saw that thing, I said, there's no way. I'm like, I don't know where I would put it.
Right.
The boxes, I think he's close to like 6 feet tall, and like the boxes were like stacked up, were just under his height. Like it came in 2 big boxes. I wanted the Thunder Tank, but again, it's just big vehicles are coming back. That was one of the things that made G.I. Joe such an iconic toy line, I think, other than like the personas of all the different characters. But it was just the plethora of vehicles, and it doesn't look like 6th Inch is really keeping Hasbro from making the vehicles that really make G.I. Joe. I mean, their HasLabs have been his tank, the Dragonfly, the Rattler, and now the Snowcat. I have the first 3, and I backed the Snowcat, so I'm waiting for that to come in next year. But vehicles are making a big comeback. And so like we were thinking, man, this is like a really good conversation, because Playsets really, that was the world building when you were a kid.
Yeah, there was, for me, and the other reason I wanted to talk about it was like, we all had the ones we had and then the ones you wanted. You never had, maybe your friend had one and he'd play with it on occasion. And I had this perfect scenario that I'll get into in a minute. But for me, I was telling Mark, I was going through yesterday and I was trying to make a list of like, all right, let me see if I can find the names of stuff. Cause I remember what I had vaguely. I couldn't remember any of the names of anything.
Oh yeah.
So I was going through looking up names, and I was going through the classic, like vintage Masters of the Universe stuff. And I had almost everything, and I didn't realize that. But I was lucky. I was lucky as a kid to have had that. That was like, I had my sister came along a year and a half after me, and then my brother came along about 4 years later. And so then you start getting less stuff that's specifically just for you when you start having siblings. I'm the oldest of 3. But I was going through the Masters of the Universe. Of course, I had Castle Grayskull, Snake Mountain, and the Fright Zone. And then I was making a list of vehicles and other stuff, and there was Battlecat, Panther, Stridor, Night Stalker, Battle Bones, Battle Ram, Land Shark, Road Ripper, Dragon Walker, Wind Rider, Spydor, Attack Track, and Zor are all the stuff I know for a fact I had. And then I kept looking like, what else did I not have? There's like 3 things I didn't have. I didn't have the Roton. I didn't have the Smashosaurus, which is like one of the real basic ones that had the Smasher. And then the Skeletor version of Zor was Screech. I don't think I had Screech, but I had Zor for sure.
You have the Talon Fighter with Point Dread, and that piece would connect to the top of Castle Grayskull. It was yellow and blue, and it was like a vehicle. It was like a bird,
right?
And it had a handle.
Oh, right, yes, yeah.
And you could put your figures in it and sword around it. Yeah. And the top part was like a base that connected to the top of Castle Grayskull.
Right. I do remember that.
Loved that, because that was kind of like a play set and a vehicle in one. You didn't have to connect it to Castle Grayskull if you didn't want to, but you could.
Yeah. I remember I was so excited to get Battle Bones.
Yeah. The carrier.
Yeah. It was because there was like, they would advertise, you open the mouth and put the weapons in there, and he like walks and he carry, and then so like I got that thing, and I remember putting all my figures in it, and then just being like, now what?
Take it to a friend's house.
Yeah. I don't know. It was one of those ones that looked so cool, and it was obviously I had to have it, and then I got it, and I was kind of a little let down. Like it wasn't, I don't know. It didn't live up to the hype for me personally.
I'm telling you, man, Masters did not play when it came to vehicles and play sets. They had it all. They had like regular vehicles, but then they also had like motorized ones. I remember the Attack Track or the Dragon Walker had that would like sling around to the front and then move the head forward and then sling the legs. That thing was incredible.
And not only that, here's something else I realized while looking these up was they all came with a little comic book that had like the hand painted artwork. And that was what really, really sold it, was when you see hand painted art of this thing, of all the guys you have, and they're like interacting, and you're seeing He-Man in the seat of the Attack Track or whatever, and you see like Sheila, Tila, yeah, sorry, yes, you see like Tila in the background, like with her fist up in the air, like it's just like, so man, it was just so cool to like look at that art and be like, I have all that. I can make that,
Yeah.
I lived in that world when I was a kid. It was
to this day,
that was the one, man, that like really, really had me.
I still argue that nobody has fused sword and sorcery with science fiction as successfully as He-Man.
Sure. Yeah.
Like nobody has come close. Like there's, John Carter of Mars, that predates He-Man, tons, no doubt. But like, as far as like actually pulling it off, blending those two, it's extremely hard.
Yeah. And then turning it into a popular toy line and animated series and stuff like, they got a lot of mileage out of it.
Yeah, they nailed it. That's why to this day, I still love Masters of the Universe. Now, I never had the Fright Zone as a kid fully complete. I think my mom found just the playset base part at like a garage sale with no pieces.
Right.
And so I ended up having it, but none of it worked. Like I didn't have any of the parts and pieces that went to it. So I did have that, which is why I was excited to get it as an adult. Not really part of the show, but I'll, off air, I'll kind of show you all the really cool things that particular playset does, because it does fold up and you can configure it in different ways. Snake Mountain has been updated, like the top part of Snake Mountain, the mountain part, you can take that off and just have the door, because as a toy in the 80s, it just had the door part at the top. It didn't have that mountain part.
Oh, I see. Okay.
That was added
The
on.
door looked the exact same.
Yes. It has a trap on the other side where, the man can go in and fall. I never had that as a kid. One of my best friends had it. I had Castle Grayskull. He had Snake Mountain. I was very fortunate to grow up with a best friend who had an older brother, and our parents were also very good friends.
That's cool.
So they coordinated Christmas gifts.
Yeah.
Between the three of us.
Nice.
If one got all G.I. Joe, the other got Cobra. If one got all Mask, one got Venom.
That's cool.
Like one got He-Man, the other got Skeletor's guys. And so our parents would kind of coordinate so that we weren't always getting the same stuff.
I had a similar thing with a friend. That's what I was going to get into, but it was with G.I. Joe, specifically, where my mom was of the opinion that, if I buy you this vehicle, that's 3 less figures that you get, so she, or whatever, so she would be like, I'd rather you have like more things than, be looking at like, oh, for Christmas, you got like 2 or 3 things. And it's like, well, these are for your guys that you already have. Yeah. So anyway, so she had the philosophy of guys over, eventually the figures over the play sets and vehicles. And then I had a friend who our parents were very close, and so they would arrange play dates with me and this kid for a while. And he had, his parents were sort of the opposite, where they went overboard with like all the G.I. Joe play sets and vehicles, and he had very few Joes. So if we got together, I brought the Joes and he had all the play sets and vehicles. He had the flag. He had like,
oh my God.
He had everything. Yeah. Yeah. So I'd get over to his house and just be like, I don't even have enough G.I. Joes for all this stuff. Because everything that came out for G.I. Joe had like spots to sit in, but it had little pegs for people to stand also. Yeah. So I would like plug people in like everywhere, just be like, this is amazing.
I never saw a flag as a kid.
Yeah. I knew one kid that had it. And every time I went over to his house, it was like, that was what we did. That's why I was there. Like,
yeah.
All right, cool. Good to see you, man. But where's the flag? Like, let's get it out. Break it out.
That flag out.
Yeah.
It's in the garage. We got paint on it. No, go get it.
Yeah. I wanted to say something about Fright Zone 2. This looks very different from Fright Zone from the vintage one, right?
It in a lot of ways.
Was there like a slime pit on the original one?
No, the slime pit was like a totally separate place.
Oh,
it was smaller. It was about this big. It kind of looked like it kind of looked like the do you remember the Beetlejuice grave that, would come up out of the grave? It was about that size.
Okay.
And you could put a figure stand there, and then you could pour slime.
That's what
the slime pit was a separate smaller place set. This one, if you remember, it had the rubber glove. Yeah, it was the snake, and you could put your hand in it and poke through this. They molded it into its own separate beast.
Right. Which that's super cool. Because okay, so I did have so I was putting them together in my head as one thing. Right. So I did have that because I remembered that glove thing. But one thing that has stuck with me since I was a kid was when I got the other one, whatever it's called, the slime set piece.
Mm-hmm.
I opened the instructions. I was always too quick. I was always like, when I would read something or see something, I was always a little too fast to act, And so I opened.
I want to read.
Yeah.
I'm going to play.
Open the instructions. There's a little illustration of a kid throwing the slime onto the ground. And they like this little like bouncing thing. I was like, what? The slime bounces? And I ran outside and threw it in the dirt. And it did not bounce.
No.
It just collected dirt. And then I got so mad, and I was like, why didn't it bounce? It said it bounced. And my mom was like, it doesn't say that at all. It says, don't throw it on the ground. And I was like, why did they draw a picture of it then? Anyway, that was, they showed me the action, and I had to do it. I was so
slime bounces.
I never poured undirty, like clean slime on my He-Man, not one time, because as soon as I got it out, I saw that image, and I was like, oh, sweet. And it's collecting.
Yeah,
that had full of dirt.
That probably served you later on when you got into probably like real Ghostbusters that came with slime or
Ninja Turtles. Yeah.
Then you knew. You're like, hey, don't dirty the slime.
It was the first thing out of my mouth. I opened a new thing. The slime doesn't bounce.
Yeah, just let everybody know in case anybody was thinking about doing it.
If anybody, you don't want to see anybody make that mistake. That'd be dumb.
Yeah, the really cool thing is about with G.I. Joe, there were a lot of vehicles that actually were play sets. You know, you mentioned the flag, but also I forgot what was the big space shuttle play set.
Oh,
I forgot what that was called.
yeah.
But that big space shuttle play set was actually, I mean, vehicle was actually more of like a play set. Now they did have like actual play sets like the G.I. Joe headquarters and
Right.
the Cobra Terradrome.
Paradrome. Yeah.
Yeah, they had that.
Yeah.
I never had those as a kid.
Hi.
I didn't have a lot of, I don't think I had any G.I. Joe play sets as a kid other than like the really small ones, like, you know, kind of like an outpost or the bivouac or, you know, something like that. I had those little ones. Mostly I got vehicles, but I will tell you a toy line that had a ton of vehicles that I never had a lot of vehicles as a kid was Star Wars. As a kid, I think I might have had an A-Wing and I had a Tauntaun. I think that's it. I never had a TIE Fighter. I never had an X-Wing.
I didn't either when I was a kid.
I never had the AT-AT.
Yeah.
Oh, I did have the AT-ST. I did have that vehicle.
Okay.
Because I remember that you pushed a button and the feet would stomp.
Yeah, I think I had a friend that had one because I remember that too, but I don't think I had it.
I had an A-Wing, which is why to this day I still love the A-Wing. I remember they called it a snub fighter, and I love that. I love like the little smaller vehicles. And then I always count like the mounts as like a vehicle, like you know, the Tauntaun. It was so funny like with the Tauntaun because I didn't understand. All right, so the Tauntaun so apparently there were 2 releases of the Tauntaun. There was one with a solid plastic hard belly. And then there was one with a rubber belly that was split open.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So if you remember both the figures, the way Kenner had designed the Star Wars figures, they could not spread their legs.
Right.
So you couldn't put them on a Tauntaun.
Right.
So it had a little trap door in the top of the Tauntaun.
Yeah.
And the seat, like the saddle, the rubber saddle that went around it, had the legs molded in onto the saddle. So the deal is you were supposed to take your figure and push the feet down into the little trap door and just sit it inside of the Tauntaun, and then the legs were on the saddle made it look like they were riding. I did not put this together. Like I never had the hard belly Tauntaun. I only know that was a thing now as an adult. I only had the kind that was split open down the middle so you could reenact putting Luke inside the Tauntaun so he doesn't die. Okay. But so I thought, like as a kid, before I ever saw, because I had the toys before I ever saw the movie, I didn't know that Luke got put inside the Tauntaun. And so I thought the deal was that you could hide inside the Tauntaun from the trap door. So I would put my figures inside, they would hide, and then they would come out the bottom. I didn't know any better. I
knew that's where the story was going. That's why I was grinning the whole time.
Because I wasn't old enough to see A New Hope or Empire in theaters. I didn't get to see those movies until my friend's dad, the same friend who coordinated our parents coordinated the Christmas gifts and birthday gifts, until Return of the Jedi come out, and then he took us to go see it, and they were playing the first 2 before, and so I saw all 3 in one day on a Saturday.
Oh.
That was my first introduction to Star Wars, was all 3 of them in one day at one go. And so, but yeah, I did not have a lot of Star Wars vehicles as a kid.
I didn't either. Right now I have I think it's called a Y-Wing.
Yeah.
I have a Y-Wing. I had that from when I was a kid. And then I have a Millennium Falcon with some pieces. It's got the canopy, on the with the gunner.
Yeah.
It's got that canopy. It's got the back. It's missing a lot though, but it's functional. It's not in bad shape. I bought it at the flea market when I was very young, or I think my granddad bought it for me for like $10. I remember for some reason I have it in my head.
Falcon.
Yeah. For some reason I have it in my head that it was $10. I don't know if that's accurate, but
I have kind of Lego sets. I have 2 different Lego Millennium Falcons. That's it. I've never had one as a toy ever.
I was kind of out of really overplaying with Star Wars at that point though, so I didn't get a lot of use out of it. It's just something that I've held on to because it was a coveted item, and so I do have one technically. And then I have my original Chewbacca from when I was a kid that my brother and I we lived out in this when I was like 8, we moved out to this really wooded area. And so my dad was always doing like work to make the yard the way he wanted. So we get like big piles of dirt dumped in our yard that my dad would use to like fill in areas and stuff. So my brother and I often had these huge piles of dirt to play in, and we'd play G.I. Joe and Star Wars and stuff in the dirt.
God.
And we would lose figures in the dirt a lot.
Sure.
And I remember digging up one day a Chewbacca, and his arms, which were a different plastic from his torso, had turned green. His arms and legs had turned green, but his torso was still brown. And I have that Chewbacca still, and it's like the weirdest looking thing. His arms and legs are green. But those are the only, I didn't have a whole lot of Star Wars like play sets. I had more of what's the green, like dinosaur that they rode, like the
Dewback.
Yeah, okay. I have one of those, and he had the same thing where you push down, you sit the stormtrooper inside his back.
I never had one of those.
Yeah, which I almost never really did because I hated that. I wanted it just, I don't care that his legs don't go around. Just make it so he sits with his legs straight on top. Just give me that instead. Like, but the fact that I can't get over the fact that I know his legs are inside the thing. It's like, I can't pretend they're not, you know?
Yeah. Well, for the Tauntaun, the legs and the saddle were all one color. Nothing was painted. And so like, if you didn't look, you wouldn't really know. It just kind of looked like equipment, hanging there. I think another toy line where vehicles became play sets as well, was Mask.
Yeah.
One that I always wanted, caused a huge fight and friction between me and my best friend, the same friend who our parents coordinated with, who I saw Star Wars with for the first time, Derek. He got the Rhino from Mask one year.
Oh.
And I wanted that so bad.
Yeah.
My parents wouldn't, it was just too expensive. And the crazy thing is I want to say it was only like $40, but back then that was a lot.
Right.
But he got my favorite character from Mask was Bruce Sato. And the only way you could get him was he was the Asian character with the yellow and like, it was like an orange or tan outfit. And he came with Rhino. It was the only way you could get him.
So your friend had him and not you.
Yeah. And I remember one time I had this very brightly colored, like Disney, like characters from Disney, like blanket on my bed. And it had like, Pinocchio and like, Peter Pan and like Robin Hood, the fox Robin Hood. And it had all these characters on it. It was really brightly colored. And he had
Robin Hood is a fox, by the way.
Yes.
You don't have to specify.
Right.
If you're talking about not Disney Robin Hood, then you have to say a human Robin Hood.
Right.
But otherwise, anybody ever says Robin Hood, I'm picturing the fox.
Well, for me, one of my favorite movies from the 80s from my childhood is Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. Every time I think of Robin Hood, I only think of Kevin Costner.
That's weird.
So
it's you and maybe Kevin Costner that think
probably
Robin Hood.
To me, to this day, there still has not been a Robin Hood movie that equals Prince of Thieves. Like I will argue that point with anybody that has
well, you won't argue it with me here today, and I don't care enough to argue.
Right. I did see a trailer. There's like a new TV series coming out. I think it's called Sherwood or something like that. And it's all about.
Are you review bombing it because it's not Kevin Costner?
No, I'm excited to see it, but I'm also knowing that it's not going to beat.
Right.
Prince of Thieves.
How can it? It doesn't have Costner.
It doesn't have Bryan Adams singing Everything I Do. I Do It For You, which is, I loved that song as a kid just because of that movie.
All right.
Anyway, I can't.
Folks, we are learning so much about
what makes me tick. But again, and those figures were reused, by the way.
Yes,
they were reused from all kinds of different toy lines, apparently. There were some other really cool play sets I remember getting as a kid. There was the Batman Batcave. It had kind of like a cityscape on the back. It was all cardboard.
Yeah.
And it would pop off. And once it popped off, it would never go back on again. And then the other side was all Batcave. It had like an elevator and then like a Bat computer and a swivel chair. And like that was pretty fun. I remember having that one.
I don't have that.
There was another one that I never had that came out in the 90s. I got into high school in 91. So like ninth grade through 91 through 94, I was in high school. That's when I started getting out of toys. First 2 years of community college, I was out of toys. And then after that, I was, we've had this conversation. I was working at Suncoast. I got back into figures. So there's like this 6-year period where I did not collect, and anything that came out from like 91 through like 98, I never had. Those were my dark times where I wasn't collecting.
I'm just a few years younger than you, so I was still getting toys through that period, but I think we all kind of went through the same like high school, maybe on into college age. You didn't really collect. But what was it? Oh, right. I had one of my favorites, and this just brought up a new memory. But one of my favorites was I had the turtle sewer layer, the original sewer layer that was super cool. I loved it. But you also mentioned reusing the Swamp Thing playset. I had the Karate Kid Dojo that I used so many characters in that because it had all these breakaway doors and stuff.
Yeah.
And dude, how many times did you ever are you playing with a playset and you just, you're knocking He-Man up against a solid plastic wall and it doesn't break away and it's whatever. But then the Karate Kid Dojo came out and I had all these breakaway pieces and I was forever putting them back together, throwing a guy through it, putting it back together, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I had
Never got old.
Yeah, yeah.
We do commercials. We do commercials every Saturday on Double Jointed. And I've covered a lot of the Karate Kid line in those commercials. And they also had the Karate Kid, I think it was called Kung Fu Alley playset. And it was like this really cool 2-story double-sided playset that had all of those same features: breakaway windows, breakaway doors. It had like a functioning fire escape that would break away, and it was all kinds of really cool stuff. I want to buy that so bad because I never saw that as a kid. I never even knew this thing existed. But that just looks so freaking cool to me.
That is cool.
I've always said any action figure that came with a grappling hook, I wanted to buy that because I just loved grappling hooks as a kid. I always tried to make them out of wood and metal and try to climb up stuff, and it just wouldn't. I was a fat kid. It wasn't going to hold. I didn't know how hard grappling hooks were actually in real life to use. But yeah, if you had a playset that had a trap door or breakaway door or window, I was there. That's all I want.
What about the Marvel Superhero Training Center? It had all that. Trap doors, grappling hooks.
No, but I did have the Secret Wars. Was it Dr. Doom's Tower or whatever?
Oh shit, I don't know about that.
Do you remember the Secret Wars? I don't remember. It was actually called Dr. Doom's Tower of Doom, I think might have been what it was called. It had these gates that would close in the front and had a jail cell in the.
Oh yeah, okay. Hang on, I'm looking it up. I got to see that.
I did have that, but I didn't have the Marvel training room. Was that Toy Biz?
Must have been. Let's see.
That was right as I was getting out of. That would have been 90, 91 when that came out, I think. I would have just been on the tail end.
Isn't it that? Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, there it is. All right. Yeah, Tower of Doom.
Yeah.
Marvel Superheroes Secret Wars Tower of Doom.
I had that.
I do remember seeing that. No, I didn't have that one. That's cool. Dang, that is really cool.
It was pretty nice.
Now I did have the Marvel Superheroes Training Center all the way up into adulthood, but I had used all the parts and pieces for other stuff, and so it was stripped, and so I basically just had the training center itself and the box that it came in because my mom kept the box, and I sold it on eBay not too long ago for I don't know, $65-$70, something like
nice.
That. Not bad. Shoot, what was the other thing I was gonna say? Something my brother and I used to do that we loved that beat a lot of play sets, in my opinion, was whenever you'd get a new microwave or a new, something large in a box, and it came with these very specifically molded huge pieces of styrofoam. Mm-hmm. And it would have little channels in it and little stuff sticking up. It could be computers and stuff like that. My brother and I would love to play with those. And we had one that we had for years that we added stuff to, and the fact that you could take guns off G.I. Joe ships and stick it into the
just push them down into the styrofoam.
Push it to the styrofoam, And so we had the danger room, the X-Men danger room was one. It was basically a dedicated X-Men danger room, and we just had guns on it, and we would put maybe a ladder across here, and they had to traverse. Oh man, we played with that thing, and then I remember having to move out of that. Well, I moved. I grew up and moved out, but I had to go back at some point and go through all my stuff and get rid of stuff. And I had to make the decision to throw it away because I was just I'm not bringing this piece of styrofoam with me from when I was a kid.
Hard to
It was. I took all the pieces off of it and kept all those pieces. And some part of me never forgave myself for that. I wish I had kept it. If anybody listening to this is maybe going to go through that at some point in your life, just keep the damn styrofoam playset that you and your brother used to play with. Because
That's crazy. So it wasn't even something that like your mom bought you. It was
right,
we had made it.
yes, we made this cool playset that our friends would come over and play with too, and be
I
like,
did the same thing.
yeah.
I definitely
And it's just-
remember doing that. For sure.
So talking about, when I mentioned the sewer, I think the sewer layer was right around the same time we played with that, and we'd go from like one to the other, and yeah. Anyway, it's just something I miss from when I was a kid, was this styrofoam playset that my brother and I used to make.
Man, that's really awesome. But I mean, really and truly, to sort of wrap this up, it's that, play sets are the world building, the vehicles, it's all part of the world building, and like adding, anybody can have a toy line, but when you branch out into vehicles and, play sets,
Yeah.
like there's so many that I really want like Hasbro to like go back and do, like for G.I. Joe, like they Zartan and his what was it called, the chameleon, like his
Yeah.
swamp skier, the chameleon. Like I really want them to make that. Like I kind of feel like at the very beginning they were like, I don't know if we're going to get into vehicles, and they've already released Zartan like 5 times, but I don't care. Zartan's also one of my favorite villains.
Yeah.
So like, please release it. Please make that vehicle. I will buy. I bought like a 3D printed version and it's broken, but I've glued it back. But I really want one of those so bad. And they always say like they're not making boats, but the little orange devilfish,
Yeah.
it was like small. I would love that. The water moccasin.
I had the Tiger Force Joe boat. What was that one?
It was the water moccasin from, was it from?
No. I know.
It was repurposed.
Shark. Yeah. Oh, okay.
Oh, you're talking. Oh, was there was a vehicle called the Tiger Shark?
Tiger Shark. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's just so many.
Yeah.
And they're kind of having like a resurgence right now. And
even Dollar Tree, even the Final Faction Dollar Tree figures, they have vehicles.
Oh, wow.
You have to buy them in 2 pieces because they're $1.25. And so you buy like one piece for $1.25 and another piece and put them together. And their little like 5 POA Final Faction, like their own IP, has a comic book. They've threatened to put a second issue out and still haven't for years, but they have an issue 1, which I have. It's not very good, but if I was a kid, and I had like
Are there different vehicles?
Yeah.
Can you mix and match the fronts and backs?
I don't know about that. I don't think so. I want to say like,
That'd be dope.
I want to say like maybe one is like a vehicle with like or a piece with like some weapons, and the other one is like the larger piece, and that's how they justify doing it for $1.25. So you got to spend $2.50, to put this vehicle together. But I was blown away when I saw that. I was just, because they have all these like
I'll have to check that out.
military do, like Marines, and then they have all these aliens and stuff, and
Yeah.
and then I started seeing they had like vehicles, and I was like, how are they doing that? This
Yeah.
before Dollar Tree went up to now that they sell stuff for any price. But it was right between them being $1 and $1.25, the Final Faction stuff, and I was buying a few of them because they look cool. And then I saw that they had vehicles. Anyway, I just wanted to throw that in there because
That's
we were talking
pretty
about
dope.
making a resurgence, and even the Dollar Tree is doing it. So
I'll have to look at that next time I go in. Yeah. I think the most recent vehicle I bought was, and I'll show it to you for you leave, is the Vanguard, which is the big, it's an actual real world SUV. It's made by a company called Resvani. It's meant to replace like the Hummer as far as like the de facto
oh right yeah.
vehicle, armored security vehicle, in like armed services. I don't know if they actually have like military contracts, but like private security firms, I think use them. If you ever saw that Amazon TV show, the one with Chris Pratt, The Terminal List, it featured in that pretty heavily. But this was made by Valaverse, Action Force.
That's
and I mean, that thing is now selling as low as $165, and it comes with a ton of parts and pieces that you can add on: armored parts, armored windows, armored doors, like cow catchers, different things for the front. I'm sure eventually they'll add on stuff for the back because they've got ports for it. They just haven't added anything yet. But that thing's a ton of fun, and I kind of like use that as a playset because you can lean characters up over, have their hunkering down so they're shooting over them, and so you can kind of use it as like a little setup for a playset. But
We're gonna have to do a part 2 on this. There's just so much stuff we haven't even talked about.
Exactly. And I think we're probably close to an hour, and we haven't even really scratched the surface of it. So we'll definitely figure out a way to do a part 2 in the future. But you guys tell us what we're missing. Let us know in the comments of wherever you're listening to this, or hit us up on Instagram. Let us know what were some of your favorite play sets and vehicles as a kid. What were the ones you loved? Which were the ones that got away? For me, Rhino got away. I never had it as a kid. I don't think I finished that story earlier, but it's okay. I always wanted it, and you best believe I have it pre-ordered, the one that's coming out for from Loyal Subjects, because there's no way I'm not getting that thing this time. Just like I wasn't going to miss having Eternia or Snake Mountain. I always wanted them as a kid, never had them, and I'm definitely getting them now. But let us know, what are your favorite vehicles and play sets from when you were a kid? Which are your favorites now? Which ones did you have? Which ones did you miss? Let us know in the comments. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to run through our love it and hate it, and then we'll wrap this up. All right, and we're back to wrap this up with our love it and hate it session. I always like turn to you, man, first. Like, what are you loving? What are you hating?
One thing I'm loving right now is we were talking about, this comes up a lot. Finally, a new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles line.
Yeah,
there are
more.
So many Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles lines. That's kind of the running gag in turtle groups is, oh, finally a new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles line. You mentioned this recently. It must be a super easy license to get for toy manufacturers, because there are so many licensed Ninja Turtle lines by all these different companies. But not only that, NECA is doing Ninja Turtles for every single iteration of every version of the Turtles, and they're doing multiple versions of each of those, and like they are just slamming us with Ninja Turtle stuff. But then there's also third-party companies that didn't get the license that are also making Ninja Turtle.
Yeah, don't let that license stop you.
Yeah, I mentioned the Fury Toys, Samurai Animals figures, and those are some of my favorites, and they're unlicensed, but I love them. Yeah, there's just so many. And then I just posted in our friend group, in our toy collector local group, about a new one I just found out about yesterday, and I don't even remember what it was called.
Yeah, that guy looked cool.
But yeah, there's just constantly new Ninja Turtle stuff, and I am a hardcore, till the day I die, Ninja Turtle fan. I will, if I have to stop collecting everything else, I will. If I could collect one character, if something happened in the world and they were just like, that's it, collectors, you get one character you can collect for the rest of your life, it's Raphael, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
For sure.
And so I'm pretty much always going to at least get him from most lines, if not all four brothers. That's what I'm loving. What I'm hating is all these Ninja Turtle lines that come out that I can't collect.
Another Ninja Turtle line.
Finally, a new Ninja Turtle line. Yeah, I'm also hating the fact that there's so many great looking Ninja Turtle lines coming out, and I can't keep up. I can't afford to. And some of the best looking ones, I'm just gonna have to pass because it's too expensive. And there's sometimes I don't even get Raphael because I'm looking at it going like, if I get him, I'm gonna have to get the other four, and I still don't even have all of these guys yet. So yeah, that's my love it and my hate. Well, all of these Ninja Turtle lines.
The good thing about Ninja Turtles is a couple of runs are getting some re-releases. So we just saw that NECA is re-releasing they're going to be Walmart exclusives. Apparently, they're going to be starting on October 9th. You can find them in stores. It's the four brothers from the movie.
From the first movie, yeah. And they're giving them brand new smiling heads this time. And a lot of the accessories from the original accessory pack that came out, it was $40 when it came out. It immediately sold out. And then you couldn't get one on eBay for less than $200.
Which is ridiculous.
Yeah, so I never got it because I missed the initial release and they never re-released them. So now all the brothers are going to come with most of those all together. The Raphael that we get with this set has the trench coat and hat and backpack, which is great.
And the bat.
Yeah. And yeah, they come with just a few other, like Donatello comes with the straw hat, stuff like that. So
lots of pizza boxes and pizza, but
yeah.
I'm happy to get the extra heads because I never had those. I had the original brothers, but I didn't get the accessory set and the extra heads and stuff. I'm down for that.
I have the original heads. I got the Angry Heads that came out with the VHS third movie set. So now I have the Angry Heads, and now they're releasing Happy Heads on me. I'm like,
Oh man.
I got to get the Happy Heads too.
Yeah. And then they're also re-releasing the Pizza Brothers that were Target exclusive, I believe.
Not the Pizza Club.
The Pizza Club. Yeah. Those are going to be, they are now being, I have noticed that they are also starting to pop back up in stores.
Oh, that's nice.
Some couple up in Atlanta. I came across Leo in one and Mikey in the other. I was like, oh, okay, it's cool to see these come back. And then somebody I follow on Instagram went in, his Target had all four. He bought all four and I was like super happy. I did not realize that the bottom of those heads and the top of those heads were swappable.
Yeah.
And that's really cool because I just have the RAF. I got one from overseas, and
it's not something they advertise, but some of the NECA animated turtles, not all of them, but yeah, I think most of the newer ones, you can take it apart right at the mask where the mask meets the bottom of the head, and you can swap their expressions around.
Yeah,
and so that works out really well because sometimes you get like one like in your case, you had just Raphael, and he just had this one like. Yeah, here it is. Kind of
weird.
There's not what you want for Raphael, so you can swap them around.
What I'm loving, I'll just blow through mine real quick. What I'm loving right now is some third-party parts. I'm loving the Rule Store is so turned me on to. You even brought me a couple of heads I had purchased. We made a big purchase to save on shipping. So some third-party heads to bring some new life to some older SH Figure Arts and Mayfex figures that I have.
Specifically Spider-Man heads. I don't see them doing anything else right now, but they're the Ferrule Store Spider-Man heads.
So
yeah, they have a ton of different Spider-Man heads for all different lines. They are the cheapest and best quality combination that I have found anywhere. So
I'll definitely post some pictures on Instagram next week of the ones I got. And then what I'm hating right now is that I am approximately 6 weeks away from Legions Con and my budget is exactly zero. I have sold no goods, made no money. I have currently zero budget. So for the next 6 weeks, I am going to be hardcore selling. And unfortunately, so are a lot of my friends. A lot of people that are going to Legions Con are doing the exact same thing. They're thinning out their collection to make money for Legions Con. The first year, I took a little over $1,000. Last year, I took $1,000. This year, I don't know. I don't know how much money I'll have. It'll be sub 1,000 for sure. But I'm not going to bemoan that. Having the ability to travel that far to go to a convention and spend that kind of money on toys at this time of year is ridiculous. So I'm not going to complain about it. But that is it for our Love It and Hate It, and that's it for this episode. You have any parting words for the people out there?
Like I always say, keep doing it, buying it, and do it with the toys. Buy them.
Do it, lady. You know Chit? Are you familiar with Chit?
Oh, Chit, yeah. Yes, I am. I don't think Chit's funny. Sorry.
Okay.
I am very familiar.
Do it, lady. Yeah, that's going to do it for this episode. Check us out because we on Instagram at Across the Toyverse. You can see all the pictures that we post from the recording session that we did here, all the little behind the scenes pics of what's all over my coffee table that I have to clean up before my family comes home. And check us out there. And hopefully, by the time you're hearing this, all of our episodes are wherever you get your podcasts, not just YouTube, but Apple, the Apple iTunes Store, the Google Play Store, or Spotify, wherever fine podcasts are sold.
And if they're not there yet, be patient. This takes time, and we don't have a lot of time.
Yeah. So thank you, Jeff, for helping us get those put up there, our behind the scenes producer. So thank you, guys. Check us out on all of our socials. Make sure you're voting on the Pose-Offs every week. And we'll see you next time. Scott and I will see you in the Toy-Offs.
Take care.